Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of CVtv Podcast. My name is Carlos, and I'm here with my co host, David Dockin, owner of CoralVue. How are you, Dave?
Doing well today, Carlos. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Been busy.
Good.
I know we've had
Yeah.
the trade show season started, and we've had a few trade shows already, and we got one coming up
Right. Headed to New York.
heading to New York. Well, actually, technically,
Yep.
it's New Jersey, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
You know,
Looking right across. We
if you're
might
from
escape into New York for a minute, but
Yeah, if you're from New York, you say, okay, no, you're going to Jersey. You're not going to New
yeah.
York.
Yeah.
But we will make our round to New York. So
Yeah.
if you are there, if you are planning on going to Reefapalooza, New York, CoralVue, HYDROS, and the entire brand line is going to be there. We're going to have a
Yeah.
booth.
Please.
We're going to show a lot of products from different brands, Reef Octopus, Dimax. We're going to be showing Ice Cap. We're going to show Reef Bright, who is now we're partnering with, and we're going to
Yeah.
show Hydros as well. So
Yeah.
that's going to be fun. Dave, what's your favorite part about New York?
New York, visiting the city is always exciting for me.
Last
Lots
time
of
we
good
were,
food and
yeah, last time we were there, we ended up going to Cats, right? And we had
yeah, that was my first time. That was an
that,
experience. I
that
loved
was
it.
yeah, that was awesome. I know that Connor, our social media guy, that was his first time in Manhattan too. I believe so. So
Mm.
he was having a great time.
Yeah. Yeah. Something.
So, Dave, at Reefapalooza Orlando, we
Mhm.
had a release. We released the Maven and we released the Launch. I'm sorry, we
Yeah.
released the Minnow as well.
Minnow.
And
Yep.
and it was such a great welcoming. Everybody was
Yeah.
excited about it. And I bet you people think that we were done right there, that we kind of like shooting star. We just
Yeah.
fizzled out and we released everything early and now there's nothing else for the rest of the year.
Yeah. No, that's not the case, Carlos. And I like to I try and tell people and give subtle hints without giving things away. But one of the great things about what we're able to do in manufacturing in house here is we can change course very quickly. We're nimble as far as from the engineering to board outlays to and then to full on board assembly and manufacturing. And I telling people this is not the end. We're going to continue to innovate. We're going to keep pushing. As a book of plans that we have, a course of product releases, and here we come to New York, and guess what? We got something new for you.
That's amazing. Yes, we do.
Yeah,
But before we announce what's new in there, let's just remind everybody
yeah,
you're watching, you're listening to CVtv Podcast. You can listen to it on Spotify, and I think we're adding it to different platforms as we build our library. So we are here. It's Dave Dockin and myself. We've been in the hobby for, combined probably about 50 years. So there's a lot
yeah,
of experience here, which we bring here to the podcast to, talk about things that help newbies and help advanced
yeah,
hobbyists. But at the same time, we also bring that knowledge into the development of HYDROS. So we
yeah,
know what people have been asking for a long time, and we know what people are looking for today. And we try to incorporate this. We may not incorporate it all at once into one product, but if you look at our past history, you will be pressed not to see that every time somebody or people ask for something, a few months later or something, then there's a product that come out. So that's what we like doing. We like to listen to
yeah.
people and bring this request into the product line.
Absolutely.
So
We as long as we've been doing it, Carlos, I'll be the first to tell you, I'm always still learning. So, we're always listening to people out there, and God knows I'm still learning. It's always something that you figure out or try something different that works in this, and both of us have still got our hands in the salt water daily. So it
yes. I wish I could have somebody do my tank and do cleaning, but at the same time, I don't, because
I know.
part part it's
You lose
therapeutic.
that. Exactly. It is
Yeah,
therapeutic. For me, it's a break from the daily chores here. For me, it's the love of it, but it's also still keeping that knowledge fresh and seeing what works and hopefully pass that knowledge down to others.
there's nothing better than getting your hands dirty to learn.
Hmm.
You can read online,
Absolutely.
you can listen to people, but at the end of the day, when you get your hands dirty and you make mistakes, and
Yeah.
you do something that causes a problem,
Hmm.
then that's when you really learn. And that's what we do with the Hydros products. So it's
Yeah.
amazing how we develop a Hydros product with a particular application in mind, and then
Hmm.
we release the product, and people start using it for something else, and we are shocked and pleased and excited that, oh my god, I would have never thought about that.
Yeah. I know.
A good example is was it San Francisco Bay? Remember, they're using
Yeah.
hydros to monitor their refrigerators.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Who would
You
have thought?
talk about all of their food, all how critical that is for them to keep at certain temperature, and how important it is to have that automated.
Absolutely. Monitor that, because you can actually get notifications. But on top of that, Dave, they also have door sensors so that they
Hmm.
know when the door on a refrigerator is been left open. And
Yeah.
that's insane. I would have never thought about. I mean, yes, we have a show online. You go to YouTube channel for CoralVue, and there's a great
Hmm.
show about us teaching how to use the hydros to put door sensors and turn on a light under the cabinet, so you're not working in the dark. But I would have
Right.
never thought that a huge company like San Francisco Bay, who sells food everywhere, they need the
Hmm.
hydros to monitor that.
Yeah.
Those are the things that
And it
excites me.
and for them, the beauty of it is they can see when that door opened and what time, or know an employee or somebody that was there at the time who could have left the door open.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I mean, and
yeah.
sometimes it's not, the employees don't, they're not, but let's be clear, it's not a malicious thing, but sometimes you just
No.
kind of, you walk away, you push the door, and it just doesn't go all
Hmm.
the way. But when you have thousands and thousands of dollars in frozen
Yeah.
food, you can't afford to do that for many hours.
Right. Yep.
Anyway,
Yep.
let's not talk about this. Let's talk about the brand new product that is going to be released at, or at least it's announced at
Yep.
Reefapalooza, New York, and it's called the Hydros Soul.
So it's soul because it's a soul pump. It's one stepper motor, and I believe we have it up to 300 milliliters. It's a standalone device. It can be tied into your collective, but this is our newest little addition to the line,
Yeah,
Hydro
and
Soul.
Dave, if we get closer to that, it's
Yep.
using a different pump. This is a pump that we
Yes.
don't often see in the hobby, but you see it a lot in the medical field. Can you
Hmm.
talk about that pump for a little bit?
Yeah. So this is a medical grade stepper motor. And the reason for stepper motors is because they're incredibly precise. So it's basically a pulse of electricity provides one pulse or step into a stepper motor. So it's something that is it's very quiet the way we run it with our driver technology, and it's also incredibly precise the way we drive in this pump.
Yeah, beta testers, the first thing that they said is they were impressed on how quiet the unit is, even running
Yeah.
at high speeds.
Yeah, even at max speed, 300 mils a minute, the thing really is incredible how quiet it is.
I know there's a comparable pump, on the market, and I know that
Hmm.
the top speed is 100 milliliters per minute, if I believe
Yeah.
so. But even when you run it at 100 milliliters per minute, it's so loud. It's like click, 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 click,
Yeah,
click, click.
yeah. Add
Yeah,
grease to it and this. Yeah.
yeah. these souls are just 100 mils, 100 milliliters per minute. You can't hear it. I actually have to
Yeah.
look at the center part in front where I can see the shaft moving, because otherwise
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to tell. I can touch it and I see a little bit of vibration, but it's very faint. And then you can see the lines kind of moving because the liquid's going through them. But
Hmm.
if I'm trying to listen to it, you can't hear it.
Yeah.
Also, the dimension, the inner dimension of the tube that's
Hmm.
going through the rollers is different, right, Dave? It's bigger, it's
Yeah.
thicker,
Yeah.
it's
It's a
bigger.
thicker, it's a larger diameter. I want to say it's about a 1/4 inch diameter tubing. That might be the ID, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's a bigger tubing, so it can handle more volume of water through it, or whatever fluid you're running through it.
And it's just a little bit hardier, tougher.
Yep.
Again,
Correct.
we are creating
More
stuff.
medical grade
Mhm.
tubing is what's on here.
Yeah. And, we are creating a product that is made for the environment. The
Yep.
Soul is IP65 rated, just like every other
Hmm.
product. It does have its own power supply because the pump requires a little more power than what the command bus can provide. But
Right.
the benefit of that is that now you have another power giver on your collective, which is more
Hmm.
redundant power coming from different angles to keep all the brains running. Um,
Right.
it uses Wi-Fi too, and it can also control other Wi-Fi devices. And the footprint is actually quite small. It's only 6 inches by 3.5 wide, and it's 4 inches back to front. That includes the
Yeah.
pump head,
Deep.
the deep.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's built for the environment. I was impressed. Beta testers are impressed on that. And the great thing about it also is that it comes equipped with quick connect.
So you can adapt right to these ends with those quick connects.
And the reason why we're using quick connects, it has to do because of the application. We
Yeah.
decided we the main purpose of this pump is to provide feed to calcium reactors, to nitrate
Hmm.
reactors, to calc reactors, any type of reactor where you use the RODI tubing.
Yeah.
Also, we like the RODI tubing, especially when you have a pump this strong, then you usually tend to use it on long runs. And when
Mm.
you use it on long runs, you don't want to use the soft vinyl tubing because it's prone to kinking. It'll kink, it'll bend, it'll twist. So using the RODI just gives you a more secure, less kinking, no problems like that. It just makes it a little bit easier. It just makes more sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Definitely. You don't want to deal with that kinking. And I
y-
know the vinyl or the silicone tubing's a lot easier to handle, and it lays flat. But yeah, it's so easy to kink, and then you got other problems on your hands.
Yeah, because there's a lot of pressure. Oh, I did that
Yep.
one. I did that one
Mm.
time with the soul, and it got kinked, and then all of a sudden, just go pop because it
Yeah.
creates that motor
No, it's
can
pressure.
push a lot of water and create that
Mm.
pressure. So RODI tubing is the way to go. Plus, every single calcium reactor, every nitrate reactor out there, since they're making a comeback, you
Yeah.
and I have one, and kalkwasser, they all use RODI. So at that point, there's no point in creating an adapter for it. Might as well just create the fitting that goes right into it.
Yeah. So application wise, Carlos, let's what you using it for? I know you
I
got one
use
running.
Yeah, I have one running. I have to get more, but I use mine for my nitrate reactor, my sulfur
Okay.
reactor. I apologize, sulfur reactor. So my sulfur reactor is running on, I have a 210-gallon tank. So the sulfur reactor is running around 130, 125 milliliters per minute. And that
Okay.
is enough to bring bring down my nitrates down to somewhere between 5 and 10 ppm.
Okay.
Yeah. And what are you using it for, Dave?
Same thing, Carlos. Got it on that sulfur reactor. Look, we talked about how long we've been in this hobby, and Carlos and I both started with a sulfur reactor about the same time. And
Mm-hmm.
I could say I don't know why I didn't do this in the years past. I mean, this thing is a godsend.
And I'll tell you why, because we didn't have the hydros. And
Yeah.
I hate to blow our own horn in here, but we didn't have
Hmm.
the hydros. I thought about using it before, but not having the ability to monitor the ORP, especially when you get into the negative numbers,
Negative.
there's
Yep.
there's always that there was always that uh, it's going to create hydrogen sulfide, it's going to
Yep.
wipe out my tank. I just didn't want to do it. And then a customer years ago decided that they wanted to do a nitrate reactor, sulfur reactor, and they asked for the changes on the hydros. And we implemented them. We implemented that.
Hmm.
He asked for it. We thought it was a great idea, and we implemented them. But I never got around to actually using it until I
Hmm.
had the soul. So, and
So
like you,
really,
I
the key is, Carlos, is being able to read the negative ORP. And to
correct.
my understanding, no other controller does that.
There are other controllers that do it, but you have to do a little bit of modification to the cable. I
Okay.
believe you have to I believe you have to cut the ORP cable going from the probe, swap it, so you're
Oh,
and then
wow.
the controller shows
Yeah.
positive, but it
Uh,
means
but
negative.
it's
So,
negative. Yeah.
but
It
it's
was a
negative.
hack.
It's a hack. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, we can use it also for a calcium reactor. And the reason why the
Hmm.
calcium reactor is great, because the unit can run as high as 300 milliliters per minute, but it can also run very slow. It can run as low as zero point 0.1 milliliter per
Yeah.
minute. So it's like drip,
Yeah.
drip,
You're
drip,
right.
which is fantastic. I
Yeah.
think it's a great application. You can also use it for, you could use it for water changes too if you had multiple
Hmm.
units, because it can run in forward and reverse. It
Yeah.
has the strength to go up a floor if
Head
it
pressure.
needs to. It has that
Yeah.
head pressure. So this pump actually is what people have been asking for a long time. And I know that
Hmm.
people have been trying to use the X10, they've been trying to use the Minnow, but that is almost like trying to, you know, a round peg in a square hole. You
Yeah.
know,
Hmm.
this is a round peg for a round hole. And
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking of. The Soul just is perfect in
How
terms
about
of
for an ATO pump for a
I
larger tank? You
yeah,
need more volume. You could
you can,
set it up that way.
yeah, you can set it up to run constantly. You can set it up to run it
Hmm.
and turn on with a sensor. I mean, and that's what I wanted to get to, Dave. The programming is super easy.
Yeah.
It's super easy. It uses the same Hydros app, so you don't have to learn a new software. You don't have to learn a new application. If you're familiar with the app, with Hydros, you can program. You can create schedules. You can create dosing schedules. You can create schedules that run over, every 5 days, every 4 days, every 3 days, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever you want. It doesn't
Mm.
matter. The Hydros can do
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's the great thing about it. Also, Dave, is the cloud.
Yeah. And
It has
backing
the
up that data,
bingo.
you
It
know?
has that cloud thing. How many
Yeah.
times do we hear people talking, I lost all my data, I couldn't do it,
Mm.
I had to reprogram my entire system. So no, you have
You
backup
got it
every
backed
time.
up.
You got it
Yeah.
backed up on the cloud. Now, Dave, let's talk about the elephant in the room and what everybody wants to know. What everybody wants to know. What's the price? When is it coming out, and when can we see it?
So we're going to show it in Orlando. I'm saying wrong show. We're going to show it in New York. That'll be June 22nd and 23rd.
Yes.
And then the release date, I'm looking at end of August for
Mm-hmm.
the official release. And the price point is $299.
$299. That every comparable pump out there that runs at this level is more than that. Plus, you
Yeah.
get a controller,
Yeah.
you get also a power giver. You can control Wi-Fi strips, so there's a little added bonus to that. That's
Yeah.
fantastic, Dave. I love it. I mean, I don't know of anything else, and I'm excited. I'm excited to find out what people end up using the controller for besides what we've said.
Yeah. And in all transparency, we've sold the Camor FXSTPs for a long time. we've sold a lot of them.
Mhm.
And so we know the market for this type of pump. But I think with our application and the software, the cloud backup, integration to Hydros, uh, it just makes sense that we did this and brought it into the Hydros world.
Absolutely. And at the same time, also, Dave, it's fulfilling a need that the FXSTP just kind of doesn't get there yet. I think the FXSTP is great. It's a fantastic pump. If
Yep.
you have it, it's a workhorse. But, just like every product, it hits a ceiling where it just doesn't go anywhere there. And I think this
Uh,
product kind of takes you that extra
well,
mile
one of
where
the
people that need.
absolutely, and one of those limitations with it was the 100 mils a minute.
Mhm.
I mean, for my system, I had to think pegged out, and anybody that's ran them pretty hard, I would say 80% over 80%. You're going to hear the noise from the heads. They require a significant amount of lubrication.
Mhm.
So this pump here is 3 times the output. There's some other pumps on the market that are like 250. So we beat that, and I believe it makes it much more reliable, user friendly in terms of maintenance. So, these are things we learned with another product, and it made improvements, and that's why we decided to go this route.
That's fantastic, Dave. I love it. It's just Hydros keeps growing and we keep providing people with what they need. Listening to people,
Yeah.
that's the key. Um, well, with that said, this is great. If you want to see the Soul, it's going to be available at Reefapalooza New York for seeing. It will be available for purchase towards the end of August, early September, and the price is going to be $299. If you have any
Yep.
questions, please head on over to support.coralvue.com, or you can go to our Facebook CoralVue Hydros group where we're there and we can ask questions. You can email us support@coralvue.com. And thank you again for listening. Thank you for watching us. Subscribe on Spotify. You'll get notification when we have a new podcast. If you want to see our pretty faces, you can always go to YouTube and watch us. So thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave, for the show. Thank you for continuing to push to get new products. This is great. My name is Carlos, and we'll see you next time.